I believe that those of us in law enforcement or retired law enforcement, we had a moment of exhale, but we realized that now we have to inhale because the reality is that this is bittersweet for those who lost loved ones, but the father of hate may have left us, but clearly the children that he gave birth through hate is still around, and that's the reality. And so we have to remain forever vigilant. We must ensure that our first responders receive the necessary financial support that they need. Patriotism can't be merely hanging a flag on our porch. It's about ensuring that our military personnel and our law enforcement personnel can continue to safeguard the home front, and that's America, and New York City is the symbol of what needs to be secured.
Do you think we're in more danger now?
Well, I don't think that.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think that the wrong message we want to send is that we are in more danger because of Osama bin Laden was killed. The reality is that we were always in danger. And the most important thing we can do is to continue to prevent the incidents from taking place, and two, be prepared if an incident does take place. So throughout the years, the color-coded system were moving from high to low to high to low. That's going to continue to happen. While others are celebrating in the street, trust me, our law enforcement, federal, city, and state law enforcement officers are not taking this time to celebrate. They're taking this time to put in place some complete strategies to ensure that we can safeguard this country.
Is there anything that you can do on a state legislative level from your position to maybe, help with safeguards or, be involved in this new phase?
And there's a lot we could do on all levels of government. The federal level, we can ensure that we get the necessary Homeland Security dollars. On the state level, we could continue to make sure that we are ready. One of the large dangers that happens between an attack, similar to the attack of the Trade Center 1 to the collapse of the Trade Center, there was almost a 7-year gap. We became lax. That's why they call these bad guys sleeper cells, because they want to put you to sleep. They want to hide within your government. So what we must do is to ensure that our safeguards are in place, our communication and technology is in place where our first responders can communicate with each other and ensure that we're not becoming lax, because the further we move away from September 11th, let's hope this May 1st incident remind us that we are still at war with an enemy of hate. And so as state legislators, we must ensure that our nuclear facilities protected, our vulnerable locations are protected, our roadways are protected. We must make sure that all the resources are going to ensure that people are well trained and well prepared. And there's some creative things that we can do with our security guards to make sure that they receive communication with the police agencies, use some of the countless number of video cameras on private buildings and properties to connect them to our police facilities. So there's a lot of things that we could do in the state to fortify our preparedness and readiness.
Now, would you guys maybe write resolutions, or is there anything that you've been thinking of in terms of pressing the federal government to make sure that we get the necessary funds to protect the state?
Well, I'm fortunate that we have some great electeds that are here that have continued to voice their concerns about ensuring New York City and New York State receive their necessary funds, from Congresswoman Clark to Peter King to Charles Schumer and Gillibrand. They have been extremely vociferous about why we should receive the necessary funding. Our role as state legislators is to ensure that when that funds they do come to the state, to make sure they're properly used and put in place the proper oversight that the money is not wasted. Money should go to protecting our home front. It shouldn't go to pet projects. It shouldn't go to buying smoke detectors or smoke alarms or other pet projects that one wants to do. We must stay focused on who and what is the real enemy, and those are people abroad or maybe in our country that are attempting to harm members of the public.